What's up, beautiful people, and I hope you had a really happy Christmas, Boxing Day, and everything else in between. And we are, of course, a few days late with the Kengan Omega Chapter 336 review, but I did read the chapter. We are here, and if it does end up being the last chapter of the year, I'm actually surprised we got this. I really am. I thought that 335 was going to be the last chapter before the new year, but it is what it is, and we are here to read 336. As I said, I've already read the chapter, and I know how some people are already feeling about the chapter. But let's just get underway with it, because Agito versus Akoya, that's how we ended off 335, and I'm curious onto how the people who watch my reviews are feeling about this one, because I'm actually pretty stoked. Because at the very beginning, it's just setting ourselves off, and we do not jump away. That's point one in its favor. This is a chapter where we have so much going on, it is not jumping away to anything else, right? So it's Agito versus Akoya. They're both staring each other down. Ryuki and Koga know their place. Sit out of here, children. You are spectators. And we see this going down. And executing justice. Stand down, Akoya. And it's like, oh, all right. They're both using their words, trying to reach a compromise here to a degree, and it just ain't flying, you know. So Agito brings up he has no reason to fight him. Akoya is just like, no, I've got every reason to fight you, sort of idea. And then he said, we have a common enemy in the Connector and Gilbert and all that stuff. And this is where Akoya is just like, I will rid the world of all evil regardless. So then he goes into what is called the stance of suppression. He goes into his stance. Now, Agito also goes into a similar stance, you know, saying like, all right, fine, you're not going to listen. I will not warn you again. Let's get underway. Koga and Ryuki bring up they're doing the same stance, and according to Ryuki, who of course worked with Akoya for a little bit, he said, I did hear once that Akoya based his stance on Kano. So his new stance, not his shield breaker like his police boom stance, you know, but this stance of suppression is based on watching Agito fight. So Akoya based this new stance of his on that. So they're going to go at it. That being said, Agito has him in mass. You know, he weighs not as significant. I won't say that, you know, 135 kg against 111 kg. It's significant. It's not insignificant, I'll say that, right? Plus, the 10 centimeters in height, not going to be much of a factor, but Agito is definitely bulkier than Akoya even. So they both rush forward towards each other, and it's actually a really good clash here, because immediately Kano, of course, just gets a full-on strike in against Akoya. He takes that, and they're going blow for blow here. It seems like the first panel is showcasing that Agito is like getting in some hits. Akoya took the first one right to the face, right to the chin, but managed to then recover and is taking body blows that he's managing to block with his arms. So he's blocking these blows, but Agito is setting the pacing, and he pushes him, punches him, flying into the building, and it's like, all right. So, not that I'm going to go crazy on the comments that I've already read and seen about this chapter, but what are people complaining about? Agito is clearly just right there, dominated that exchange, right? It's everything we expected him to do. So, Agito is obviously, you know, he's ready to go, and he's like, fight for justice all you like, but leave us alone. And he's referring to himself as we Venom once again. So it's like, all right, Agito. So Akoya gets up. He's in no mood. He's fully, realized himself, and he goes forward. He clutches him. Akoya decides to, go for the quick one. He goes in for infighting, and Agito immediately throws him, just slams him to the ground, doing a throw. This is where he tries to end it with a stomp, but Akoya moves really, really quick and manages to, due to, once again, his reaction time, that'll be brought up, that his reaction time is so good that he managed to slip right at the last second out of Agito's finishing move with his foot, and ends up getting a punch in that almost, it's starting to get Agito a little bit. Agito's got a block, and Agito's like, oh shit, damn, you know what I mean? So he's actually getting on par there. Koga and Ryuki, once again, just being our spectators or narrators of this, saying that he worked with Akoya for a while, but I don't remember him being this strong. Something's changed within Akoya. And it's like, well, because when you fought him, he was only pretending to execute justice. And obviously, to all us, 3D chess readers, we know, using the gray matter up here, the kidneys, we know that when Akoya decides to truly execute real justice, he goes toe-to-toe. He goes toe-to-toe and actually manages, by sacrificing a blow from Agito, he actually gets a full-on unblocked blow to Agito's face. And I'm like, wow, okay. So Agito takes this and says, it appears Akoya has regained his former power, but I will not lose. And then he decides to go against, strike. Akoya manages to lean back and then forward quickly, enough just to manage the block. Stomps onto his knee with his leg by using a block. And then the final page of the chapter reads that Akoya's minimum reaction time is 0.074 seconds, the fastest in the world. And the fastest man alive pounced on Kano Agito. And that's the end of the chapter. Now, as I said, I really like this idea because there's a few factors here. Number one, we know Akoya is very strong. And we know he was going through some shit for most of Omega. So he wasn't really strutting his full capacity, as it were. That's why people, were clowning on him and it was a bit of a joke and such. But Akoya is definitely a very good fighter. And Agito, obviously, is not going full on out. He's trying to... there's a few factors here. Number one, they're not allowed to kill, right? Obviously, I don't think Akoya cares about that while Agito does. Plus, Agito is not trying to, maim him for life. He's not going all out like, this is Kuroki Gensai, I must fight to my full capacity. I think Agito, in that first exchange, recognized, okay, you cannot fight us, you know what I mean? And he's getting a little cocky. Remember how Agito fights. This is what I think bothered people, is that Akoya managed to obviously get a 1-up and then a 2-up, following up. He got a 1-up on Agito and then he capitalized on it. That's all that happened. But the Agito that I know from Ashura and Omega is the type of person to overestimate and also underestimate and likes to play with his food a little bit. And there was a key part midway through the chapter, and I brought it up. His "we are venom" line. Us. Using the term us. If we take that, that was the key difference. This is the Agito who lets his opponent come to him. And he plays with his food before. It's a bad trait. The Fourth Fang gave him shit for it because he would have obviously lost to Hatsumi in the Ashura tournament had he not given him shit for doing so. Hatsumi would have taken advantage of that, different type of Fang, would have won. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. And the fact of the matter is that this is an Agito who is, right now, he's allowing that to take form. And I think we saw the key moment when that happened. Agito is not taking this as seriously as he should. He's using his us persona, which is still not gone. Just because he's managed to balance between them, it doesn't mean that his personalities all of a sudden merged into one and he's all good and he doesn't need any therapy whatsoever. No. That's not what happened, right? So I like this because Akoya is taking full advantage of the fact that he knows that Agito is obviously underestimating him. He's going blow for blow, and he knows he's going to take the similar. He's using his reaction time, which once again does matter, to his advantage. And that is going to negate certain levels. And we know that Agito potentially is, because he's fighting the way he is he using his Inception of Intent? Is he using pre-initiative? Unlikely against Akoya, because he's using the us term. I'm just saying, that this, to me, reads very well. Because Agito was dominating. He said, I have no reason to fight you. You're not in my league. I'm going to dominate you. He showcased dominating him. Used the us term. Akoya comes back, gets one blow in, one block and one blow on Agito, and capitalizes on that blow. That's all that really happened. Next chapter, Agito's going to be basically like, spit out the blood and be like, alright, you want to execute justice on me? Let's go. Formless or whatever. Like, he'll martial arts. He'll go all in. But right now, all this was Akoya taking advantage of an Agito who wasn't choosing to go all out. And Akoya recognized that and took advantage of that. This all goes down properly, power scaling wise, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm here for it. I like it. I like the chapter. The art was pretty good overall. I didn't see anything that I disliked. I liked a lot of the big blows and stuff like that. Seeing two guys of similar build going at it was pretty cool. The final couple of panels also, that big strike to Agito looked really good from Akoya. Akoya's big close-ups have all been really nice. And the choreography is not bad. So overall, 336. Not a bad chapter. Not a bad chapter as far as I'm concerned. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And we'll see you guys back here for chapter 337. Probably not going to be until the new year, of course. So if this is the last chapter of 2025, hope you had a good 2025. Or at least better than mine was. I hope that for everybody. And I really do hope that we continue to get some really good Kengan content going forward into 2026. So, as I already said, happy Christmas and everything to everybody who celebrated, in the last few days. And if we don't see you for more Kengan content before the new year, then Happy New Year to all of you as well. Hopefully 2026 is better for all of us. That's all I can say. Anyways, have a good one, everyone. Sayonara. See you next year.